Okay, and we're back with what is obviously the best thing in the book, as you can see. You might have a hard time opening that book later.
Yes. It's quite clean. It's fine.
Yeah, but yes, we're on the Raven Wing, which is by far the best thing in the book.
By a country mile. Yeah.
It's a bit tasty.
Yeah. Dark Angels Raven Wing edition. Here we go. Starting with the man himself, Samuel.
It was already a bit tasty to start with. Yeah, the two options.
Yeah.
Everybody used to go for Codex.
Yep.
Except me, because I don't actually have the model. I have got a copy, or I've got the Sable Claw model, but I've never really used it. Because they've mucked about with him now. He's pretty good. You've got Eternal Warrior.
Samuel at 200 points is still very
solid.
good.
Very solid. The bike is good.
You always should put him in a unit of normal knights because he gives them skilled rider. You can put them in a command squad, but I honestly believe that you put this guy in a unit of normal knights.
The Black Knights have got skilled rider anyway.
I said not normal knights, sorry, normal bikes, because they give normal bikes skilled rider, and then it makes them really good. He's got rapid manoeuvre, so he's charging an extra 3 inches. He can,
and turbo boosting if he needs to.
Yeah, he can fire 2 weapons now, so he can fire his plasma cannon and a twin-link stormbolter. That's good.
Pretty solid.
He's got Hatred Carol Space Marines. He's fearless, grim resolve, so he's overwatching. He's got hit and run. He's got everything.
He's got Raven Wing, so he re-rolls his jinx.
Yeah, the guy's the machine.
And he's a scout.
Yeah, he's a scout.
It's just the list of skills for this guy is long. His equipment list also pretty long, and he's got a teleport on him. A bit tasty.
Jet bike is very, very good. Sable Claw they've made better. I don't.
Still not.
It should have been 3 hit points. They made the other land speeders 3 hit points. We'll be getting to that in a bit. This thing should have been 3 hit points. It's 200 points.
It's a standard land speeder though. It's not. The others got their whole point bump because they're
from a model perspective, it kind of makes sense that it's still only 2 whole points because it's still the same size.
But it's still armour 14 front and side.
But he takes 1 less hit in it than the jet bike.
He's basically got 1 less wound because he's got the Eternal Warrior of the jet
bike. I believe it was actually you, Len, that I had a conversation with when the 6th edition came out and the new land speeders came out, that you said that the new land speeders should be 3 whole points because they're, and I'm quoting you here, as big as a rhino.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Rhinos don't float though.
Doesn't matter. That's technology, and if you get, in the old rule book they just fucked up royally. They made them bigger, they made them look more impressive, and forgot about it. Yeah. Fine. I mean, you can argue about the 2 whole points. He's a special character, and it would have been a way to translate the Eternal Warrior cloak onto Sable Claw. That he gets an extra hit because of that. Didn't bother with that. They do make the sword work though in this, and without no FAQ, no FAQ nonsense or anything like that. They've given you a rule.
It's Vector Strike.
Yeah, it's Vector Strike.
D3 +1, Strength 4, AP2. As long as the land speed has moved over the top of them. Cheers.
Yeah.
That's quite nice.
I think it is nice. Yeah.
His vehicle's on rear armour as well, not side.
Yes, his vehicle's on rear armour. I'd still take him on the jet bike. In my opinion. So that's the character.
The metal ones are going to be even more valuable now.
Yeah. Now, should we mention the slight glitch with HQs and Raven?
Oh, do you want to do it now? We'll do
do the detachment.
Okay, we'll do the Strike Force because this is stupid and Games Workshop are idiots and once again just shoot their proofreaders. Okay, so the Raven Strike Force can have 3 HQ choices. We'll be back to that in a second. One elite, 10 fast attack, and 3 heavy support. First Huntsman. In this detachment, if this detachment is your primary detachment, you can re-roll the result when rolling on the Dark Angels Warlords Threats table. Once again, that is kind of nice, but the HQ choice you'll be taking is Samuel, and you don't roll for him. Speed of the Raven. During your first turn or your second turn, if the units in the detachment were placed in reserve, any units from this detachment that turbo boost or move flat out count as jinking until your next turn. That is really good. However, Units from this detachment that do so can still fire
They
their
all
guns
shoot.
normally. They do not have to do not have to fire snapshots. That makes it, in my opinion, very close to being broken.
And they can re-roll the jinx that they're jinking.
And then the final rule, strikers 1. All of the units in this section must either be placed in reserve or deployed as normal. If placed in reserve, all units in this detachment automatically arrive at the start of your second turn. Do not do that, put them in play. Because they're Raven Wing, they've got Scout, they're already going to be halfway across the table when you deploy them. This detachment is good, but the next thing we're going to highlight is that you can take 3 HQ choices.
However, there's only one HQ in the book that has Raven Wing. This formation says must have the Raven Wing special rule. Only one.
Yep.
And there's not a means to give the Raven Wing special rule to anybody.
Nope.
A chaplain or an interrogator chaplain
Yep.
can ride a bike.
Doesn't make him
Doesn't
make
get
him Raven
Raven
Wing.
A librarian can ride a bike, but he doesn't get Raven Wing.
Yep.
Now there was an entry in the previous Codex when you were wearing Terminator armour that gave you specifically said you gain the rules that mean that you'll fit in with all the other Deathwing bits. I was expecting there just to be a little paragraph somewhere that said the same thing with bikes, saying if you're riding a bike, you gain the Raven Wing special rule.
No.
Because they wouldn't give you a bike unless you had the Raven Wing special rule. They don't just give them out to any unqualified Gimboid in power armour.
No. So, basically, this formation should state at the moment, pre-FAQ, because there will be an FAQ for it, HQ choices 1, Samael. First Huntsman, ignore that, because you can't re-roll your trait, because you've only got 1 trait, because you don't roll for it. Rest of it, really good. So,
basically, that first section.
You can take 10 fighters if you want.
You might not want to.
I think it'd be hilarious.
They're alright.
I mean, you're talking about flying spam, that allows you to spam flyers, and one of our flyers is really good, which we'll get to, and one of them's been upgraded. Back to the bikes, because that detachment is quite kind of funny, but it will be good once they FAQ it, because they'll probably give the bike rule. If you want a bike, you've got Raven Wing.
That would be the sensible option.
Yes. Raven Wing Bike Squad. So here we go. It's 5 points cheaper, standardly. We lose the ability to take a land speeder in it.
But there's a formation, does it?
Yes.
Now I don't understand why there's a separate entry for the bike squad as a bike squad, and then it as a formation.
I think it's just for sake.
Yeah, but they're both called the same thing. Oh, it's Raven Wing Attack Squadron as the formation, isn't it?
Yep.
Right.
As I said, Raven Wing has definitely got a buff because they're not skilled riders, which is okay. That's bum, but they've still got hit and run. Yeah, bang Samuel in the squad, they get skilled rider, but they do have the Raven Wing rule, which means there's a reroll on Jinx, which is amazing.
And they've got Grim Resolve.
Yep.
So they'll Overwatch. And
Overwatch on 5s.
Bang them in part of a
Lion's
Lion's
Blade.
This is new.
Oh yes,
We weren't allowed attack bike squadrons before.
we are now.
Now we are. Previously, the only attack bike that you could get into it was a Raven Wing attack squadron would have 6 bikes, and then you could upgrade it with an attack bike and a land speeder. Now they've kind of broken that up a bit because you could combat squad the 6 bikes, and you could run the in fact the attack bike had to run completely independently, and the land speeder further independently of that. So when there were troop choices, which Samael or Azrael could make them, you had 4 different scoring units running around like maniacs.
Yeah.
Now they've kind of bent that back a bit, but the attack bike squadron does mean now that you can have 3 of the attack bikes. They can only have multi-motors or heavy bolters. I was expecting them to get a little bit of a buff in terms of
Plasma maybe.
maybe plasma,
Yeah.
maybe las cannons.
They were never getting las cannons.
I know, but I really want.
They were never getting it.
But it's just, there's that extra additional option now that there's a unit that can re-roll its Jinx saves, which is a bit tasty, but it's also packing a little bit of firepower.
Yeah.
It's nice. And also I've got about 3 unboxed attack bikes at home, and now I've got an excuse to break them out.
They have refined the Raven Wing Bike Squad, going back to it for a second. Basically, in the old rules, they made that pointless rule, which is you can swap over a chainsaw or a bolt pistol, because it did nothing. It was just aesthetics, because they released bike models with chainswords instead of bolt pistols. basically, they've got none of that crap in here now. You either have bolt pistol or chainsword because of the model, so that's fine because it does nothing to you. And then your sergeant can be equipped with items from the melee weapons or ranged weapon list, so you can make him gunslinger
On a bike.
if you really want to. The Ravenwing land speeders,
No, they're a bit reasonable.
yeah. Reroll jinx, they can deep strike. You can have 5 in a squad. I think 3 is optimal. I wouldn't want to take 5 in a single squad.
Yeah, with their special rule.
Yeah, and then they've got the anti-grav upwash, which is their special rule for the formation, or not formation, a unit.
Just for a land speeder.
Whilst this unit includes at least 3 Ravenwing land speeders, it can move an additional 6 inches when moving flat out.
Now, if you've got Samuel
Yep.
with his rapid manoeuvres in Sable Claw,
Yep.
does that mean that they turbo boost or flat out 9 inches
Yes.
on top of the 12 that they can already move?
Yes.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, it's an additional 9 inches, so they can turbo boost, what, 12?
Yeah, so
They can flat out 12.
Yep.
And another 9.
Yep.
But it does mean that if they
yeah.
turbo boost in that first turn, they are going a
yeah.
long way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are getting into your opponent's deployment zone on your first turn.
Now, with land speeders, that's fairly pointless because they're a bit of a liability up close.
A little bit. Maybe not with Sable Claw though, because armour 14 means that bolt guns can't take him down because you have your tank in the front.
This is true, but where the lane speeders will come into it is when you look at some of the formations later on and how they fit into the Lion's Blade detachment.
Yeah.
A land speeder on its own is okay. When it's in a squadron with some of the special rules as a formation that's been fitted into the detachment and things start stacking up, the freebies really do start raining in, you get some crazy shenanigans going on.
Yep. Agreed. Then we go on to the Dark Shroud.
Dark Shroud's good. I
Jesus.
like the Dark Shroud.
I mean, when Games Workshop want to sell a model again, they really do want to sell a model because they realised that this model weren't selling because both versions of it were crap. This one was...
The Dark Shroud was the only one that you ever used to see.
Yes.
And
now
But the model of it isn't great.
it's not bad. It's
The
just
the flying DJ station cathedral.
What they've done now is they've made the model better.
well, the model's the same.
It's just...
They've just made the rules for it better.
Yes, they've made the rules for it better, that's what I mean.
What I do like particularly is the little guy at the back with the sword. Even theirs hasn't got a blade on it. So they put their own model together and that still fell off because that's just standard. I think everyone just goes, oh crap, sniffs it off.
Yeah.
But these now are a bit tastier. They're more so. They were okay before, but it's things like now they give fear to the unit that's close to them and charging. Which, if you combine it with the Interromancy, you can start doing it on 3d6. If it's a fear susceptible unit, that's a bit useful. The really, really, really funky part is if something assaults from within 6 inches of the Dark Shroud, you can't overwatch against it.
No, which is broken.
Which is a unit of Black Knights with Samael, which I know we've come back to a couple of times.
Yep.
You're bad people that have just made all the Tau players out there very unhappy.
They're in trouble.
Launch from within. The Dark Shroud can be sitting 5 inches behind them. They just go, boom, we'll assault from here. They're going to have a bit of punch behind them, and they can't be
The
overwatched.
scary thing now is that Tau have only got 1 turn to shoot these buggers, and then they're getting charged. That is very scary for a Tau player that we're normally used to about 2.5 turns, roughly, to get shots off. These things are going to be down their gullet so quickly. So yes, they might be able to marker some units so you can all fire and kill some. I just think this is going to be too much if you're going to do a Ravenwing force. And if you're going to go on the buff that they gave them, the assault cannon used to be 20 points for an upgrade, it's now 15. So they were just trying to push this model hard, and they have succeeded.
You don't take it to shoot things.
No, well,
you just don't take it to shoot things.
But putting an assault cannon on it does make it better.
It does, but then you can jinx this thing on pretty much a 2.
Yeah, but then still makes the assault cannon better because it's more shots.
Yeah. But it's a 15-point upgrade that you don't necessarily need. It's a support unit. It's not there to
probably
kill stuff.
Yeah,
Generally,
probably,
it's the way I tend to look at it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But it's good, and I like it.
Now we're on to the flyers.
Have you done the Black Knights?
No, they come next.
Oh,
These are still fast support. So.
Yeah, okay.
We'll get onto the really, really, really fun stuff.
The Jetfire.
The Nephilim Jetfire.
I love that model.
I like the model.
They've made the model not made the model. They've made it more viable.
They've not done enough with the points. My issue with it previously was it was 180 points.
Yeah.
And a Storm Talon was 130. Now, granted, the Storm Talon can't dump 4 weapons because it's only got 2.
Yeah.
This could, but 2 of them had to be Black Sword missiles.
Yeah.
Or you could fire 4 of them, and they were just pointless.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be an anti-aircraft missile
That weren't anti-aircraft.
that would bounce off almost every other flyer in the game.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden they're strength 7 and they're AP 3.
Yeah.
You can start actually killing some stuff.
But in my opinion, still not good enough. They should have been strength 8, and Games Workshop still didn't understand that, and that did annoy me. It means they never tested this enough.
Things like the flak missiles are strength 7. If you've got strength 8 against a flyer, you're going to start ripping it.
This army, they make so much for it, anti-chaos. So this thing should be able to kill a Hell Turkey. It can't.
No.
Their missiles should be strength 8, otherwise you don't stand a chance against one. And this is the thing that bugs me.
The issue again, and when you take the las cannons, sticking with Hell Turkey, but
yeah, but you need more than just 2 las cannons.
They've taken it from horribly crap to
average.
Yeah, average.
Well,
but it is an average unit, and average units aren't bad.
That's correct.
They've given it missile look back, which they took away previously. That had gone away. As my understanding of the missile lock rule, it used to be that you only roll 1d6 for scatter.
Yes.
These missiles aren't blast.
No.
So why has it got that wrong?
No, a missile lock might change in 7th phase.
It might be slightly different. We might need a bit of a rules clarification on that one, because otherwise they've given it a rule that they're probably charging you points for that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, so we're just going to check missile lock just to understand if that missile is still pointless on this thing.
Now, strafing one is a bit tasty. Ballistic skill 5 against ground targets, thanks.
Yeah. So what they've probably changed this thing into is a air-to-ground fire. Yeah. Because the unrelenting hunter thing, which is when they choose a weapon destroyed result against the vehicle, they choose to immobilise.
It's twin-linked missile lock.
So
basically,
twin links. Okay.
So now that actually makes a difference.
Okay, so you're probably going to be hitting.
You can ripple fire 4 of them in one turn.
Okay, so basically what we've got now is that if any flyer is armour 12, this thing still can't deal with it enough, in my opinion. If it's below that, this thing can fight it. It is still 20 points too expensive. Yeah.
It does have the Raven Wing special, so it can reroll Jinx.
Okay, it's still 20 points too expensive, and the reason why is because we get to its cousin, which is
this one.
Yeah, which is the Dark Talon. Now this thing has. This is why Games Workshop confused me. Is you look at these two and you look at the armaments and you go, how the hell did you think that 170 points and 160 points is justified? Because this Rift Cannon is ridiculous.
They have taken the worst flyer in the game and made it into one of the best.
Yeah.
Just by changing the. I mean, to be fair, a Rift Cannon, if you look at the fluff of it, it's firing the warp at somebody. It's punching a hole in reality. And they've now changed the rules from, I'm a bit blind.
Strength 5, AP 5 didn't really reflect that,
didn't really reflect it. It's now Strength 10, AP 2, Blast, and if you roll a double for the scatter, it becomes a Vortex.
It's just ridiculous.
Is it blast or large blast?
Just normal blast.
Just, yeah.
Because if it was large blast, jeez.
Well, the old one was large blast, wasn't it?
I think it was, but it didn't use to actually do any damage, so...
No.
Yeah. So the Rift Cannon is now just amazing.
The one thing that doesn't make sense for the model is that this one can hover and a jet fighter can't.
Yeah.
And there's no modelling, I believe, on the model that makes you look like they can do that.
Mm. Well, in fact, the other one, the Dark Talon with all the flying church bits slapped on the side of it, looks like it has to keep going at pace because otherwise it will just fall out of the sky.
Yeah. It's got stasis bomb as well. That's also that's also very good.
Aerodynamics has kind of been taken on faith for most of Games Workshop's models.
Yeah, true. I mean, the Storm Talon is essentially a brick with engines on the side of it.
So
and if you look at the Spacewalk ones, that is a brick with engines on the side of it.
That looks like a puppy's head.
So basically what this thing does is with the stasis bomb,
it's pretty tasty.
It's a bomb, it's large blast, and it's got a vast stasis and alloy. A unit hit by one or more weapons with this special will reduce its weapon skill and initiative by 3 to a minimum of 1 until the end of the turn. Furthermore, if the model suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from this weapon, it must pass a separate initiative test for each wound suffered or become removed from play. Now, I don't know how it's going to work, and you're going to have to argue this until they FAQ it. What happens first? Does the initiative hit it first, or does the wound hit it first? Now, if you follow the letters of the rule, any unit hit, you'd hit first, get to the minus initiative, and then you roll to wound. So that means they've already taken the initiative loss. That is frightening.
It's only strength 4.
It's
But
only strength 4.
If you roll a 5 and get that wound, and they've got to take an initiative test at -3, I mean, you're right. If you follow the order, you hit, you wound, because that's how it
Basically,
works.
if they fail their armour save against this,
They're
that
dead.
model
They're gone.
that model is really banging trouble.
It's worse than the Hellfrost cannons.
Yeah.
No, you only can use it once. This is literally a one-shot puppy.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, yes, it's a one-shot puppy, but the thing's still got 2 hurricane bolters and a rift cannon, so don't worry.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
still,
yeah. I mean,
it's still going to be wrecking
it's
shit.
got a little bit of backup.
There we go. If you're going to take either one of these, take a Dark Talon. And to be honest, if you built a jet fighter, just call it a Dark Talon. No one give a shit.
Well, the Silent Squadron, you need 2 nefs to do one Dark Talon.
We'll get to. Do you know what? We've done the 2 flyers. Let's go to that Dark Squadron because I don't think it's worth it.
Oh, it's expensive.
If you're taking the Lions formation, it's the only way to get them in there, though.
That is true.
Yeah, but the issue is it's 2 Nephilims and 1 Dark Talon, which is a lot of points.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Where is it?
There it is. Page 144. You've got to take 2 jet fighters and 1 Dark Talon. They've got a capture run.
Now the capture run's a bit tasty as well.
Yeah, when making a bombing run, the stasis bomb, the formations roving Dark Talon do not roll to scatter. The space bomb the stasis bomb hits automatically. Furthermore, enemy models that suffer an unsaved wound from the stasis bomb roll 2 dice and pick the highest. Basically, that model is dead. In missions that use victory points to determine the winner, the Slay the Warlord's
Still
secondary
good.
objective is worth D3 victory points to the controlling player at the end of the game. I mean, that's just really good.
And the fighter escort means that all 3 of the flyers turn up at once.
Yeah.
This is one of those things where it's Games Workshop tax. I had 2 flyers.
By a third.
I will be buying a 3rd because I've got 2 nefs because they were better in the older rules. The Dark Talon now is born again useful, but it's where things like the Dark Vengeance box set comes into its own because I need some Deathwing Knights, I need some Black Knights, and you effectively get a Dark Talon for about a tenner.
Yeah.
If you take it into account on the actual box.
Or if you go to some of the discount sites that are out there, it's effectively free.
It's effectively free.
Yeah.
But it does mean that the flyers are a lot more viable now. They can really make an enemy HQ choices. Well, they can just upset them quite dramatically.
And now we go to the Black Knights. These guys...
You'll be seeing these guys a lot.
They're really good.
Yeah, I mean...
They've dropped the price.
Adjust.
2 points.
Yep, so they're 40 points model now instead of 42. 120 points for the base squad. They
Have
haven't...
an additional 7 of them.
Yes, that's still the same.
But they can't combat squad.
No,
So if you have a unit of 10 Black Knights...
every 3 models in this unit, 1 may replace its back.
Grenade launcher.
Yeah, with the grenade launcher. Now, they've nerfed the grenade launcher.
They have a
unfortunately.
bit.
Is there any real reason to take the grenade launcher over the Talons?
Yes, because you can have stasis grenades.
Is that better than the Talons, though?
You can use them every turn. If you're going to charge them the turn after, if you're going to charge them that turn,
So what they've
rip
done...
them up with a plasma, and then knock their initiative down.
We'll just highlight it. What they've done is basically the rad grenades in the old Rude. When they hit the unit, they got -1 toughness. Now, to wound roll causes of a
If
6
you roll
causes
6,
2
that's
wounds
2
to the
wounds.
target.
What strength are they?
Strength 3.
3. So would you really?
You generally need a 6 to be making the wound.
There's blast now.
Yeah. So would you rather have a strength 3 attack doing 2 wounds, or would you rather have 2 strength 7 AP2 attacks?
Probably fire the stasis grenades.
Yeah, his answer is the stasis shell. Now, in this army, if you're going to go for the charging part of it, with Samuel in that instead of a normal squad, which is a lot of points, but you could do it, because they're not going to be overwatched at, they're going to be behind the dark shroud, and the stasis nole, all models hit, all models in a unit hit by 1 or more weapons with the special
hit
suffer.
by, not wounded.
Yep. -1 penalty to their weapon skill initiative until the end of turn. That is going to break a combat. It really is going to break a combat. You're going to have a squadron of maybe, you ain't going to have 10 of them. You'll probably have 5 or 6, because 6 is quite a good number for raiding if you're going to be fairly fluffy. Say 5 of them are survived with Samuel. hitting. You're going to have 4 probably hammer or wrath attacks, and then they're going to go to town on you.
If you are mixing them up with the Dark Shroud, they've got a 2+ re-rollable jinx save.
Yes.
That's a bit tasty.
Yes. Against most armies, these things are just going to live.
They're going to live, and then they're going to go and kill some
The
things.
Corvus hammer is still the same, I think. Rending. Yep.
Yeah, it's +1 strength.
And the Blade of Caliban is good.
It's better. It's definitely
It's good.
better.
It's not unwieldy, because that was one of the most stupid rules they ever put on the bloody thing. So now it's +1 strength, AP3, so it's just a good power sword. Enough said. And
we like these.
And what they've done with the sergeant is now he doesn't have a Blade of Caliban anymore. He has a power weapon. So the sergeant in this unit is going to be even more mustard because you can give him a power fist. So get remodelling on your sergeants because give them a better weapon.
Is that?
Yep.
It says it replaces Corvus hammer with a power weapon.
Yeah, so you can put a power fist on
Fist, does that count?
I think so. Let's have a look. I could
The
be
power,
no, I'm
weapon,
gonna
the power
be wrong.
weapon is 15 points.
No,
the power fist is 25.
Yeah, I'm wrong. No, ignore me. You can't do a power fist. You can do everything else, but yeah, power weapon. And so basically,
So you can have a power axe.
Yeah, you can have power axe. So you'd pick an axe because
Nice cheeky AP2 chomp.
yeah, you just protect him and you just have you've got an AP2 weapon in there, along with Samuel. So you can have some proper churning power.
They're going to mix it up, and they're going to weaken whatever they're going to charge.
And the Corvus hammer's still having
Strength
rending is not
5
bad.
rending, it's,
That's good.
They're just very solid.
Yeah, they're just 40 points a model. They're expensive, but they are worth it now because their survivability has just gone through the roof. Yeah, that's it really.
Now, Black Knights versus the Command Squad.
It's the Wall of the Apothecary.
Yeah.
Is the Feel No Pain worth it? To be honest, they're very close. So judge it yourself, guys. Yeah. So you can have 6 of these now. So they've made that.
Yeah,
They
you
put
can
that
bump
rule.
that up.
In fact, that's better than the FAQ errata
Where
in the
it's
book,
only
where it was
5.
only up to 5. You can go up to 6. One can have a standard.
Comes skilled rider.
Come with skilled rider. Up to 2 can have grenade launchers for free. 1 Black Knight in the army can be an apothecary for 30 points. Well, yeah, if you're going to take it like this, it's a must-have.
And he can have a Blade of Caliban instead of his Corvus.
And he can have a Blade of Caliban for commands for 5 points. That's a worthy upgrade now. It wasn't. It is now.
Yeah.
Would you take these over a unit of Black Knights? Yes. I would. I think because the 5+, the Feel No Pain is just king.
It's worth noting that the Ravenwing banner has also gone by the way.
I know it exists.
Does it?
Yep.
So the one that gives you the automatic hit and run is still a thing.
Yeah, 1 second. I'll get to that because both of the wing banners exist. They've just got about 3 relic banners.
Yeah, the really super banners.
I saw it. Well, Ravenwing Company banner. Friendly units with the Dark Angels faction within 12 inches of this model equipped with the Ravenwing Company banner re-roll failed morale checks, pinning checks and fear checks. In addition, all friendly models with the Ravenwing special rule in the same unit of this banner automatically pass initiative tests when attempting to hit and run, and roll 1 additional dice when determining the distance for the hit and run. Yes.
That's quite useful.
How much is it going to cost? Let's check that out.
35 points.
35 points.
Oh no, sorry, it's 20 points for the Ravenwing Company banner.
20 points. That's a really good upgrade.
The sacred standard, 35 points, which I'm not entirely sure what it does.
The reason why that's a really good upgrade is because out of the 4 games I used my Ravenwing army, and Gus can protect for this, I only ever passed 1 hit and run roll. I just couldn't pass them for the life of me. I kept on rolling 6s, and I was really annoyed. And a lot of swearing was involved. Yeah, both of them are good. Yeah.
Imagine that the Ravenwing Company banner is like a giant post-it note with hit and run written down the side of it, because you paid the points for it, you're going to remember to use the damn thing.
Yeah, agreed.
So the Command Squad is, again, pretty tasty.
Yeah, I like it. Thumbs up. Okay, onto the
Landspeed of Vengeance.
Onto the Landspeed of Vengeance. Now this model did get a buff. Both of the big land speeders, we might say, have had their hit points increased by 1. This is a good thing because they were not twice the size, but nearly twice the size of a normal land speeder, so they deserved an extra hit point. They got it. This one got it, and that matters more than on the other one because the stupid gets hot gun.
It now can't kill itself quite as easily.
Yeah.
The other thing that's worth mentioning is the range has been increased on the Plasma Storm battery to 36 inches.
That is a big deal.
It is nice, but we were looking for something like removes get hot or make it twin linked or any number of things that would make it more survivable. The extra hull point might do it.
Yeah.
I've never used one of these. The model I got, I made it into a Dark Shroud.
I think you're going to be making Dark Shrouds. I don't think you'll ever be using this model. but when we get to the final bits of the formations, that might change your mind.
Well, the difference again is I might, because it's got plasma guns on it, and I really quite like.
In fact, that's all of the units. So we now get to the formations, which is 2, I believe.
Yeah, you got the attack squadron and the
Because we've already done the flying squadron. So the Ravenwing attack squadron, you're allowed 1 Ravenwing bike squad or 1 attack bike squad, and then you're allowed 1 unit of Ravenwing land speeders or 1 unit of
Vengeance,
or 1 vengeance.
And the land speeder squadron can only have 1.
1 model. Yep. So you basically you get 1 land speeder and then you get unit 6 bikes, and then the attack bike if you want. So basically, yeah, as he said, this is replacing the old troop fast attack formation of the Ravenwing assault squadron.
I don't think you can get the attack bike on that, because it's a bike squad or an attack bike squad.
Yeah, but the bike squad.
Can an attack.
Yes.
Oh right, so a standard
The bike squad. Yeah, the bike squad.
So this is the traditional. This is what you expect from Ravenwing.
With some new rules.
Although yes, the funky, super funky bit.
So you all of them gain scout, so that only matters to the land speeder.
Yeah.
Attack squadron. If the Ravenwing land speeder or Ravenwing land speeder vengeance from this formation scores 1 or more hits upon an enemy unit in the shooting phase, then all models in this formation get +1 ballistic skill against that target. That is amazing.
Twin linked.
That's just so good.
Ballistic skill 5. Cheers.
And then they get to summon the Deathwing as well, which is friendly units comprised entirely of models with the Deathwing special rule. Do not scatter if they deep strike within 12 inches of this model. This formation.
This formation. Now, that formation can be spread over quite an area.
Yeah.
And it's within 12 inches.
And that's it. So, yeah, that formation is good as well.
It's good.
And then
there's a formation that can be part of the Lion's Blade.
Lion's Blade.
Which means it's got
the stupid Overwatch.
Yeah.
And
now,
then
as the rest of the phase, they've got +1 ballistic skill, so they can't go, oh, but +1 ballistic skill gets you, now you're assaulting me, and I can overwatch at full ballistic skill.
No.
Because that'd be nuts.
Yep. Ravenwing support squadron.
They're good.
Yes, so this unit, you can take 1 unit of Ravenwing land speeders. The unit of Ravenwing land speeders must include 3 models, so basically minimum 3 to 5 land speeders, and then 1 vengeance or 1 dark shroud. They get Grim Resolve, just in case if any of them didn't have it. They get Interceptor, they get Strafing Run. All of them are good.
None of them have Grim Resolve.
There you go, so they all get Grim Resolve.
Now, it looks fairly pointless to give them Grim Resolve, because they're vehicles and they can't overwatch.
Until the next rule. An enemy. This is Raven Shield. An enemy unit declares a charge against a friendly unit with the Ravenwing special rule. Models from this formation within 24 inches, which is ridiculous, can choose to fire Overwatch against the charging unit, even though vehicles cannot normally fire Overwatch. Template weapons can only use Wall of Death special rule if they are within 6 inches of a friendly unit. Remember that a unit can still only fire Overwatch once per turn. That is bonkers. Full stop, ridiculous.
This is why people would buy it and build a Vengeance.
Yes.
Well, yes. The Raven Shield is great. Then combine it, because they've all got Grim Resolve, with being in their Lion's Blade detachment, and they're overwatching at full ballistic skill.
Yep.
So, oh my! Only against Ravenwing units that are being assaulted.
Your Ravenwing models in that formation are going to be at the front anyway. So if they're going to be taking the brunt, they're going to be.
They're going to get assaulted. The Ravenwing attack squadron can overwatch at full ballistic skill because it's got Grim Resolve anyway. And then the land speeders that are behind it are going to be spitting a load of heavy weapons at them.
Yep. And then the only final thing that this squadron's got is that all the models in this unit must be part of one squadron. They become one squadron, sorry.
Well, that's because it's got Interceptor and Strafing Run as well.
Yeah.
So you're talking about +1 ballistic skill to hit ground targets. And as Gus has pointed out, the land speed of Vengeance with Interceptor,
yeah, it's good.
It's quite useful.
Yep.
I will be running a Lion's Blade detachment with an attack squadron, a support squadron, maybe another attack squadron just for a bit of a laugh. It's basically, this would be a unit tax. Because you're paying a whole bunch of Ravenwing and you're paying for the green gonks just so the Ravenwing can do excessively cool shizzle. They're really good.
This Codex was very, very mediocre. And as soon as the Space Marine Codex replaced this one of 6th edition, this Codex was pointless. This Codex, however, is toe to toe with the other Space Marine Codex and is worth every penny.
But
If you're a Dark Angels player, be very, very happy you got this instead of an experimental codex like that one I just threw over there, because this one is worth it and it's really good.
What I like about it is it can go toe to toe with the vanilla Marines.
Yes.
But also with a completely different feel to it.
Yes. You are playing a completely different game.
You are playing a different army.
Yep.
They're still Space Marines, but the quirkiness and the cool bits that make Dark Angels interesting generally to Dark Angels players are still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've mucked about with some bits and pieces.
Some people will say they're going to be that they feel quite schizophrenic because they're either very defensive or very offensive. I just feel that they give you
that balance.
Yeah, I think that just means you have got to do one thing that has been lost in 40k games. I feel like, which is creative army writing.
Tactics.
Yeah, no, I just think creative army writing. So many people have just been used to go, oh, we'll play Spam Hammer and we'll just
Belial Terminators.
Yep. Now, granted, some of the formations promote Spam Hammer in this, but some of them don't. Like, if you want to get that Lion's Blade formation, you are going to have to do some really funky maths hammer to get all your stuff in. And if you do get a really finely balanced Lion's Blade formation in an 1850 point game, well,
it's dangerous.
Fair play to you, because that thing is going to be mean.
It's going to be fair. The Lion's Blade detachment itself is fine. It's getting the full battle company into an 1850 point. That's when it starts to get. Because one demi company, 25 Marines running around on their own is one thing. They're pretty useful. They can, they can do some stuff.
Yeah.
And no one's going to be shooting at them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have Ravenwing bikes jumping all over their face.
If you can afford it.
In a 1500 point game, that demi company is only going to be 300 or 400 points.
The frightening thing you've got here is basically when you get that full company support, when you get all your free transports.
Yeah.
If you do the maths on it, it's worth, because if you're going to buy. So 3 tactical squads are going to have 3 rhinos, that's 90 points, no, 105. Assault squad isn't going to have one, the Devastator squad isn't going to have one, the Dreadnoughts might get a drop pod, so that's another 100, that's 140. So that 140 points is 2 squads into the second demi company, which then you'll get them free if you completed it. So why wouldn't you try and complete it and get a full company involved? And at that point there, you just go, oh look, I'm going to choose 10 Razorbacks and shoot the crap out of you.
And you need an interrogator chaplain, which Games Workshop very handily released the model for just before the Codex came out.
No, you need the regular chaplain.
You need a normal chaplain.
Yeah, well, it's a global power fist to do all that.
Yeah, once again, if you use him, no one will care, and if they do care, then they're special.
So you don't need to play them.
Yep.
They're already going to get upset enough by the other stuff in the Codex later on anyway. So, sorry, you can do what? Yeah, we could do that now.
Yeah. So there is a couple of gaping errors, which they will FAQ, but it's less errors than the old book, which is good.
The FAQ in the old book was lengthy.
Yes.
It was things like, yes, Azrael does have a bolt pistol, look.
Who
cares?
The big one here, guys, is no, you can't take Land Raiders in your Death Wing formation. It doesn't change rules for Land Raiders. They can't deep strike. Don't take them. If you think you can take them, you're reading it wrong and you're trying to bend the rules too much. Just ignore them. Don't take them. These 3 entries here, ignore them. Just take them. The book is good, and the good thing is we didn't get hold of them shit rhinos. We didn't get hold of the blimmin' Skyfire space things because they would have just taken up unwanted space in this book. We got cool stuff instead. We got sweet land speeders, which the look on them are finally growing on me slightly.
I think they've taken away our cool toys. They've taken away our powerful generators. They've taken away our banners, but they've reduced or they've replaced it
with formations.
With a bunch of new tricks.
Them formations are better than them cool toys.
Yes.
So we've lost 10% fluff and gained 50% game advantage. I'd take that any day of the week.
Makes a difference.
Yeah. And there we go. That is the Dark Angels Codex. Out of all, if you're going to review them, I think the power level is probably up there with Tau, but not as good as Eldar. So I think it's probably a 7.5, 8 out of 10 Codex in my opinion for rules. Fluff-wise, unfortunately, new codexes suffer with fluff because they aren't pushing the story on as much as they should. So I think fluff-wise, for originality, it's probably 4 out of 10. For standard fluff, if you've never bought an Dark Angels Codex, it's probably 7.5, 8 out of 10.
If it's all news to you, it's good. It's a good read.
Yeah.
But I still haven't done the actual check yet. But I was going to look at the cipher paragraph in the old Codex and the cipher paragraph in the new one, because I actually think they're word for word.
They probably are.
Now Gus has said, "Oh, nothing's really changed." It has. You could rewrite it. Cipher's done a million things. It's been around for 10,000 years. just put something in from the background of the history. Change it. Do something. It's lazy.
He's just whinging for the sake of whinging.
Lazy.
Yeah.
No, you spend 35 quid on a book that you're now saying is effectively... Gus's rule, there is a 7th ed codex is just a rule book. You don't spot a rule in that book until page 95 out of a 160 page codex. Now I think what ended up happening was the marketing department went, we'll issue a press release saying we're giving the Dark Angels a 160 page book. And the codex writers went, you what? We've written 50 pages of rules. What are we going to do here? So they've rehashed a bunch of flush. They've added in a couple of new quirky little bits. The wardens in white, they're a nice little interesting quirk that haven't propped up before. But the rest of it is all...
There isn't enough new fluff in here to make it worthy to buy it just for fluff.
Yeah.
If you are a game player, buy it. If you're a Dark Angels player, that is,
You
buy
still
it.
need to buy it anyway.
Just don't think there's going to be too much story pushing. You're not going to get an answer of is Lionel Johnson going to wake up again yet? No, he's not. He's still sleeping. Spoilers.
Spoilers. But the thing is, so there's a good section in the middle of the book that has got to be 7 or 8 2-page spreads, photographs.
Yeah.
Now that's fine. Some people love to see pictures of well-painted models, but the first few pages of it is clearly one big wide shot, and then several pages of close-ups of different bits of that big shot. It feels like they've got to pack some pages in, so they pack in some pages.
Yeah, they did.
During the bestiary section where it gives you the description of your units, at least half of every page is an illustration. But it looks like it's been written for a cartoon. I don't think they look very good.
I've
not had a chance to really... Well, my initial opinion of them was that it's a bit cartoonish. I do like the page you're looking at. Just flip that around. There are quite in-depth pages like this that will show you all of the company markings. But again, it looks like it's been paint by numbered. So my feel on the whole is the rules are very good.
The fluff isn't. But
the book...
He's retreading same territory.
It's been compromised. The quality of the actual production of the book has been compromised. They could have just made it 70 pages long.
And that's it.
And that's
There
it.
you go. 7.5, 8 out of 10 codex for gameplay, 4.5, 5 out of fluff. Peace out.
End of the day, this is all just two gamers' opinion, and we
Deal with it.
on this channel we advocate fun above all else, and if you can have fun with the less powerful units.
I don't advocate that message.
Jen does not stand by this message at all.
Have fun. Do have fun.
Yes.
Try and win at all costs.
Yeah, to them, winning is fun. Not winning, not so much.
That guy.
Half that guy. I'm not fully that guy.
He's not totally that guy.
No, he's not.
But there we go.
But yes. Okay, so that does bring us to an end of this Codex review.
Yep.
If you have liked this review and you'd like to see more, let us know in the comment section below. If not, just tell us to get stuffed.
Yeah.
So.
And yeah, if you have sat through all of it, fair play to you.
Fair play. You can watch The Lord of the Rings in the time it's taken to go through this.
Yeah.
It's probably better.
I was like, you sat down at the beginning of this thinking it would take an hour.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
Yeah.
But we're still here.
So, yep. Yep, so, yeah, if you like this, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.